Life is unpredictable, but preparing for the unexpected shouldn't be. Take ownership of your life planning with Policy Genius to help your loved ones have a financial safety net in case something happens to you. They offer life insurance policies starting at just $276 a year for $1 million in coverage. Don't wait for life to make other plans. Protect your family today. Head to PolicyGenius.com. That's PolicyGenius.com.
This is Fantasy Avenue, hosted by Mikey Andersen, your road to fantasy football victory. What's up, everybody? I'm Mikey Andersen, Fantasy Avenue. We got a little Thanksgiving episode for y'all. Big week last week, we got some players to talk about, and then a couple games filming this or recording this on a Friday. Couple games last night on Thursday, and one going on almost right now, the Chiefs-Raiders game. But we'll talk about kind of the Thanksgiving review, and then look towards this Sunday and who you should start, who you should sit, who you should pick up. We'll get into all that. We're going to start with Thanksgiving. Mr. Miller, English Mr. Miller, I got two of them. Shout out the Cowboys, a little cheeky little win there, and counseling Mr. Miller. NHS hours are coming up. If you know, you know, right? NHS hours for November are on their way, so I'm going to be seeing you shortly. And yeah, got to get my shout-outs out the way. Oh, and Coach Flynn. Coach Flynn, I don't know if I've made a podcast since the high school football season has ended. We ended up losing in the semifinals, pretty tough loss, but I have nothing but gratitude for my high school football career and all the players and coaches. And Coach Flynn, now it's time. I'm thinking either we do maybe like a playoff championship fantasy episode in a few weeks when it gets to like week 14, week 15, or we could do what we did last year where we kind of do a whole season review, talk about the MVP and all that, and a little bit down the road in the actual NFL playoffs. So we'll figure that out. But Coach Flynn and everyone else know it's coming. And then let's get into Thanksgiving real quick. So first Thanksgiving game was the Lions and the Bears. I'm pretty sure everyone kind of knew it was going to go down in that game. And the Lions did what they wanted to do. A couple key players, though. I saw all these things on like Instagram about how Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery dropped the ball and didn't score touchdowns for your fantasy. If you watch that game, those dudes were dominating. Like, they might have not scored you a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had a fumble. But that Lions offense with that 1-2 punch where every play, every running play is a fresh running back, basically, because you don't have to have them in for a 60-minute game. That is nuts. And I was talking to my dad. I don't know how sustainable that is to pay to top 15 running backs. But for now, at least this season, I don't know when their contracts are up. This season, it's gonna work. And while that sucks for a fantasy perspective, kind of, because you're splitting carries, for a team perspective, it's lethal. And the Bears defense could not stop those dudes. The Bears actually kind of crept back because they started to throw the ball until the end. I mean, that was the worst ending I've ever seen of a game coaching-wise. But the first half was all Lions running. And then the second half, as I was just saying, the Bears started throwing the ball. DJ Moore had 16 targets. That's nuts. I don't know, like that just doesn't happen. He had 8 catches, so it's not like he was catching every ball thrown to him either. They were just throwing him the ball. And he had a nice fantasy game, put up a cheeky little 23, I got no complaints. It looked like it was going to be a blowout going into halftime. The Bears got that fumble and then immediately scored, and all of a sudden it was a game. I think the Lions should have stayed with the run more, like people are complaining about how, they didn't, David Montgomery didn't, whatever. They should have kept handing the ball off. But Lions get the W. That's all that matters. That Sonic and Knuckles? Is that what the combo's called? That tough combo. Next game. What is the next game? Oh, yeah. Cowboys, Giants. What a heater. All I know from that game is the disappointments. Like, Drew Lock played, as good as a normal Drew Lock plays, and that's very poor. Cooper Rush on the Cowboys actually did pretty decent, but CeeDee Lamb, I know people are fuming about CeeDee Lamb. He had a pretty just average game. Like 3 drops that I remember seeing. Crazy, like one on like 3rd and 2 where he's wide open on a mesh route over the middle and he just drops the ball. It's that type of stuff that I was just like, just shake your head at this whole game. And it wasn't even a good game. Like everything about the game was just like, come on. But the Cowboys won. So, you know what, Cowboy fans, you can be happy. And if by some God's green earth blessing, the Cowboys make the playoffs in the stacked NFC, they're going to look back at this W and be like, I'm thankful. Final game, Packers-Dolphins, what I think a lot of people thought was going to be the best game, ended up not, because the Dolphins do not realize that if they're not playing in the middle of the tropical oasis that is Miami, you have to still play football, you come up, honestly, the semifinal a couple weeks ago that we played against Glacier, it was snowing, and that, honestly, the snow kind of hurt us, right? Hurt our speed, but I'm very confident if the Dolphins came up and played us in that weather, we would have won. Tyreek Hill looked average at best until his, late touchdown, which saved my fantasy, because holy crap, I didn't start Jaden Reed, who was the Packers receiver. He had 20, and I was feeling it until Tyreek scored 13 points in the last 2 minutes. But the Dolphins just look terrible, and the Packers, they're okay. I don't think the Packers have a real chance of going far in the playoffs because Jordan Love just doesn't protect the ball. And when you have an offense like the Lions, the Lions' offense did not look insane in the game they played, but I feel like when you have a team like the Lions, or the Eagles, teams that capitalize off turnovers really nicely, when a quarterback who turns the ball over at least once a game, up to this point in the season, that's a little scary. But it was a good win for the Packers, and the Dolphins, their Dolphins are proving why they're not a playoff team. Good. One more loss for an AFC team, one more opening for the Broncos to do it to it. So I'm proud. Let's see. I'm trying to open my phone. Too many notifications. Come on now. All right. I like to look at last week. We already did a couple reviews. Hopefully you guys started who you started, because I wanted to talk about the Thanksgiving post games, not pre games. But now we can go look at last week and kind of see who are your start and sits. So what week is this? Oh, week 13? All right. See, I'm doing this on the fly because I love it. Oh, wow, look at that. Playoffs approaching. Playoff begin week 15, 12 days. Dang, dude, it's almost time. Coach Flynn, I didn't know it was that soon. If we're going to do a playoff episode, we could get to it. Otherwise, looky, the MVP, though, I got a little money on Bo Nix winning rookie. Oh, I'm very excited to talk to Flynn about that. I have never heard more smack talk than when I was talking about how the Broncos could pick up my Oregon quarterback in the draft. Now he's playing like rookie of the year, and I got a little money riding on that. Rookie of the year is it's a popularity contest, honestly, but the media has been shifting to give Bo Nix some credit and being like, oh, is this guy a sneaky dark horse? And when that happens, it's time to bet. Because if the media is talking about a sneaky dark horse, I'm a bet on the sneaky dark horse. Anyway, playoffs are approaching. Let's see what we got for week 12 in the top players. There's one man in my mind before anything else, Saquon Barkley. Oh my God, 46 points, 55 yards on the ground, over 300 total yards. Dude, somebody told me it was 300 yards, and they didn't say total, and I was like, holy crap, he set the rushing record. Still, 255 is crazy impressive. 46 points. I played him in 2 out of my 3 leagues, and I actually won one of them. I lost one, but losses happen, right? Losses happen. But I won, 46 points, whatever. My team balled out. I scored 160. But Saquon's lethal, and I'm not betting on the MVP because, again, I think it's a popularity contest, and I don't, I believe in Bo Nix. I don't really know. Because running backs just don't win it. But I could see some people betting on him and getting disappointed because it's a quarterback award. Offensive player of the year, though, Saquon, I'm very confident is a good guy to look towards. It could go. It's really between him and Derrick Henry, and until Derrick Henry puts up a 255-yard game, Saquon's got the lead. So we'll see. He was a big player, though. Look at the top. I love this. These are your top 5 fantasy players from last week. Saquon Barkley, Jaden Daniels, again, good rookie quarterback. Threw 2 picks though, that hurts. But had 3 total touchdowns. He balled. Jordan Addison, which was just crazy. Jordan Addison is the wide receiver 38 and scored 30. That's the first time he scored over 20 all year, I believe. Oh, maybe he did it one time. He's missed games. He's had injuries. That was just fun to see. Cortland Sutton, come on. 29. He has the most receiving yards in the NFL since week 8, the last 5 weeks. That's crazy talk, bro. And then Patrick Mahomes, that list is so funny to me between these young dudes, these old guys, these guys who switch teams, these established dudes. It was tough. It was a cool week. The quarterbacks it's always a little iffy, right? You never really know. And really this year, there hasn't been a lot of like star quarterback play. Now, I got to say, Josh Allen being out, dude, that freaking hurt. That crumbled me. I cannot. I had to play Russ, and he scored 13. That's Russ's worst game of the season that he started. I was like, dang, bro, you're one time I have to start you, where you're not in my bench scoring 20. You scored 13. That hurt. And then I wanted to talk real quick. Quarterbacks is an easy section because you're not going to find many quarterbacks to add. Jameis Winston. I've heard a lot of people looking towards Jameis Winston and adding Jameis Winston. And I'm going to say not this week. Broncos defense knows how to pick up our quarterbacks. Not this week. I really believe Jameis, and I think he's one of the coolest people in the NFL. But I don't believe this week is the week to start him. He has a tough schedule going on, and he's really inconsistent in terms of his points. It's an emotional pick, right? It's a guy who really brings your roster together. Your fantasy roster, you always need a glue guy. You know what I'm saying? God, I love that term, glue guys. You know when a player is important when you talk about his character more than his stats. And on a team, that's wonderful. On my fantasy team, now it could be me, it could be old-fashioned, but I don't really care about the character of my players. I just care about the points they're scoring, The only characters I really care about are the bench. That's why I still have Dak Prescott on my bench, even though he's out for the season, because I'm keeping him. I'm riding. He's riding with me. He's riding. Mark's riding with us. If you know that, dude, I hope you guys know that reference. Mark's riding with us, so we're riding with Mark. Dak's riding with me, so I'm riding with Dak, and we're gonna take him. I'm gonna get Dak a ring. As for my starting quarterback, I don't need my starting quarterback to be a feel-good story. I just need my starting quarterback to put up some points. And Jameis Winston, I don't think is that guy for the rest of the season. But hey, you know what? Put him on your bench. Put him on your bench and have a glue guy in your bench. That's dope. That's fire. Let's go to running backs. Saquon Barkley, he just stands above the rest. But there's a couple dudes I really want to talk about. Tony Pollard had his first good week in a minute, and that's somebody that I'm kind of looking at because it's literally when he gets carries, he scores points. When he doesn't, he obviously doesn't. But when he gets 24 carries, he scores 21 points. This game, 18 points. He had, how many carries did he have? 17. See? Okay. It seems to me that he's scoring about a point per carry. And if you do the math, a point is 10 yards. Maybe he scores a touchdown. But that's good, You give a dude 30 carries, he's rolling, scored 30 points. That's what you want. That's a Derrick Henry type stat line. So I'm gonna look at Tony Pollard, kind of see how I don't think I'm gonna start him this week, and he's a good dude. Honestly, you could pick up. He's rostered in 81% of leagues. He's a top 20 running back. I'm gonna look and see where he gets this week, and if he's continually getting these carries, he's gonna continually put up points, and he's a dude to look at. And then Bucky Irving. This is nuts. I've had him on my bench over and over and over this year in a dynasty league. This guy's gonna be a big scorer for me, I believe, in the coming years of this league. But He's been on and up for a while. He was consistent in the teens. He had an off week, and then he was right back to it. And I think that's why I didn't start him last week, because I was a little scared. I think he was actually bench warmer of the week. But he's going up against the Panthers this week. That's going to be huge. Panthers Raiders next week. Bucky Irving is a must start. I think for everyone, and he's just really exciting. Now, if you're a Rashad White owner, like I am in an ESPN league, that obviously hurts, right? I'm not going to lie to your face and say that I'm without pain, because I also have experienced that. But Bucky Irving is a nice start. Whew. Let's go to receivers. The receivers room is the funniest thing. Top 5: Jordan Addison, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Are you serious? Now, DJ Moore had a nice back-to-back. Jalen Waddle did not. I am glad I traded Jalen Waddle, because that kid, he's just come on, 11? Are you 8'5", 28, 11? Dude, come on, score some points. And I actually got him for Tony Pollard, so you know what? Give me a little pat on the back. Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison, we already talked about them. As for receivers that I'm looking that you could look to add, I really don't know. I was going to come into this episode, I remember thinking about Jacoby Myers, because he's not a big name and he consistently scores points on the Raiders. But Gardner Minshew, going out with an injury at the end of their last game, broken collarbone, that kills the hype for me. Hopefully he keeps scoring, but I really don't have a receiver add other than him, and he's not. Losing your only quarterback who really knows how to throw the ball, yeah, that's tough. All right. Tight ends. Now, Jonnu Smith, holy crap. His last 3 games, 28, 23, 21. Must start. He's rostered in 80% of leagues. If he's available, you have to pick him up. I don't know what, like 4 out of 5 leagues he's taken. 1 out of 5, who is the 1 out of 5? This guy's a beast. He scored 23. The only tight end that beat him was Trey McBride, who was predicted the tight end 1 coming into the season, and he's the tight end 4. The tight ends have been crazy inconsistent, but I mean, that was just like, are you serious? How is this man not added? He's exciting to me. There's really, it's you're getting down to it, right? The trade deadline's done. A lot of these dudes are picked up. At this point, scour the waiver wire for the best available. Pick them up if you think you need it. But honestly, Mark's rocking with us type thing. You got to rock with your team right now. You've had all season to build your squad, and I hope that some of the advice I've given has helped that. The only positions that I could look at to pick up this week are defense and kicker based on matchups. But you've had all season to build your squad, and I'm praying for all you that you've built a squad that's capable of winning, because it's really hard to build it at this point. It's really hard to find the gems in the rough. I will say there's still viable options for backup running backs. That's something I'm looking at the top scorers, and that's something that I love. Like Amika. That's definitely wrong. DeMarco. I know his last name. DeMarco on the Cardinals. Dudes like that. I picked him up a couple of weeks ago. He dropped like 15 when I had no other running backs available, and he's a backup running back. So I would say the only really area that you could look towards, look at running backs, look at available running backs, and look at like just the last week. There's a way to look at last week's points, and if there's anyone that pops out to you, go ahead and pick them up, because those are the only positions that are really getting new what are opportunities, I guess. Like if you're a receiver, you're really not coming into yourself at this point in the NFL. But if you're a backup running back and the starter gets injured, you are automatically in the position to get 15 plus carries. Those are the dudes that if you can find a gem and then get lucky with a target share when you need one, right? I don't necessarily need a running back, but if you need a flex position, that's a league winner type thing. Other than that, you really got to just rock with your team. Defense and kicker are the only thing I can think of for this next week. And I want to say Will Lutz and I want to say Daniel Carlson, two like animals. Now I think Daniel Carlson, the Raiders kicker. I already talked about Will Lutz on the Broncos. Basically any offense that's doing well, it's a guy to look at. Daniel Carlson is probably my pickup of the week. It's today actually. If you listen to this episode, you got about an hour to pick him up. I don't even know if that's gonna upload in time. Well, if it uploads in time, pick him up. If not, pick him up in the next week, because with an offense that has a new quarterback and will, I think, struggle to move the ball, Daniel Carlson is automatic from range. 50 plus, he is nice. So I'm going to say the Raiders are going to get within the 40 a couple times a game. I think he's going to have a few long field goals, and if your league is set up to where it's 5 points per field goal for 50 yards, all you need is 1 or 2, and that's 10 points out of kicker. That's a good week. And then let's say, the Raiders actually scored a little bit. You're looking at like 15 points for your kicker, and I think that's like, I'm not just like hoping, like I'm like that could legit happen if the Raiders offense struggles, but then maybe scores a touchdown. I don't know, someone to look at. And then defenses. We're gonna go to defenses. Really, the last call out before the episode's over, and the only position in my opinion that you can find like solid starts in any league, not just leagues that are like, oh, how is he not picked up in this league? I mean, these are any league. I'm going to look at the Chiefs defense going up against the Raiders with a new quarterback, always shaky. I'm going to look at the Texans defense going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who probably have the most shaky offense in the NFL, and the Texans defense have actually been pretty good this year. And then my final defense, again, going up against a shaky offense in the Panthers, the Buccaneers, who I would say this is probably rostered in 58% of leagues, definitely a team you could pick up, coming off a 13-point game against the Giants, who again are a struggling defense, or a struggling offense, So this defense has shown that they can score points against bad offenses. Those are your defenses of the week. That's kind of everything. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Black Friday. That's the game going on right now. I'll see you guys next week. It's about playoff time. I hope that you can find your own gems in the rough, and I hope that your kicker blesses you with 20 points. Signing off. See you next week.